My lords and ladies, welcome. Let the games begin.
Enlisted by Gaijin Games KFT. So there's this game I've been playing a bit of lately. And I have to stop, more on that later. It's a game I have held off on reviewing for a while now. Because I don't usually do reviews like this. But I don't just love games, I love gamers, and so I feel compelled to give this one a review, for reasons outside my usual promotings. So let's get started. Shall we? The good. Awesome selection of theaters. Beautiful art. Great graphics, rarely seen in a free-to-play of this game type. Wide range of weapons, customizable too, sort of. Great support gear that actually makes a difference. Vehicle combat too, including air support. Each player starts with a whole squad, fills the battlefield up nicely. Tech trees offer some great player choice upgrades. Not quite sure why every battle starts with clouds. Devs trying to say they have their head in the clouds with this game? Most games focus on one theater. And that theater gets old fast, but this game has, count it 6 theaters, although the reality is closer to 3, but that still is pretty cool. The artwork is another thing that really shines. They didn't cut corners here. So is it just good art and CG? What about the battlefield graphics? The in-game graphics are no slouch either. Usually, you have to buy a $60 high-end franchise to get online gameplay with such a great graphic presentation. The weapon selection is gorgeous. You don't just have rifles, submachine guns, machine guns, RPGs, pistols, revolvers, and even flamethrowers, but with an unlockable card system you can customize not just your loadout, but even their functionality. You can unlock new functions, accessories, etc. You can even add extra troops and different troop types to your squads to improve on the mixed arms tactics and size. It's awesome. Look at that screen. After a lot of work, I've upgraded and recruited to my squad a beautiful mix of assault, rifleman, engineer, and radio operator for artillery assaults I can call in. So cool. Speaking of gear and functions, this game actually has a fully realized support function. Your engineers can construct barbed wire, sandbags, gun emplacements. It's awesome, and actually impacts the game, especially things like ammo supply drops, and well-placed spawn points. Yeah. Maybe you are more the sniper support kind of character. That's well fleshed out too. And the vehicles. So many, and just like the weapons, they are all very different from each other, keeping the game fresh. We have tanks, APCs, half-tracks, jeeps, and planes. How I love the planes. Even if the controls are sloppy awful. And it's not just for air combat, though that is very satisfying, but what makes it even better is how that impacts the battle below. You eliminate an enemy plane, and he isn't strafing or bombing your team. Which of course means, you can strafe and bomb your enemy team. That brings me to the bad. The bad. Like most multiplayer combat games, players tend to forget their team. The tendency of a player to randomly change crouching standing positions. Potato Squad AI. Some seriously unrealistic missing damage effects. The game gives a lot more than just cosmetics to its paying customers. Just like the oblivious head in the clouds that start every battle. Like most multiplayer combat games, you have to put up with teammates who forget they are on a team. All the rage, because players are doing their own thing, while a cap falls undefended, etc. In this game, it is even more severe. Imagine being a pilot with limited ammo, but no one wants to mark the enemy. Or artillery or mortar sheller, but again, no one wants to mark the enemy. Look at this screen. What if the player in front thinks they are prone, and the player in the back thinks they are crouching? The game's random change position bug gets old real fast, and exposes you to a lot of incoming fire. See that squad of 6? 5 of them are completely brainless, and will probably die in the first few minutes. Yeah, the AI is just fodder, most of the time, and their deaths will count against your team and you will be blamed. What do you think will happen to that light armored vehicle if this plane crashes into it? Nothing, but the plane and pilot will die. Now let's talk about real money and the player experience. Most free-to-play games have a real money store for microtransactions, but after many games were slammed for pay-to-win, most games attempt to keep most of the content as equal to the free stuff or cosmetic, so you can look cool and support the devs. While the game does have its share of pointless, but fun cosmetics, the game is heavily slanted towards the paying customer. See that Game Pass? See all those locks? Unlike most Game Passes where free-to-play gets something trivial after spending time grinding, in this game the paying player gets a valuable unlock and the free player gets big fat nothing. Out of 9 thresholds of grinding, the free player gets 4 and the pay player gets 9. It gets worse. This is the main leveling part of a theater campaign. Normally you gain EXP on a battle and grind your way up. In this case, grinding your way up doesn't just mean more to do, but in many cases, it's the difference between being in a truck or a tank, in a sad can't do anything early seaplane or a powerhouse fighter. And yes, in this example, if you noticed that the seaplane was grindable, and this advanced plane was only available to paying players. That's right. To add insult to injury, the premium vehicles and squads that occupy a whole level means that if you are a free player, you have to grind through that level, get nothing, and keep grinding past to get to a level where they let you get something, and that's not the Game Pass, this is the main campaign. I could talk about how silver or gold tokens are required to buy soldiers, weapons, and such, and that most often the free players only earn bronze tokens, which buy mostly pointless stuff. Let's get to the very ugly part, shall we? Get it over with.
The very ugly pay-to-win massacres. Take a look at this screen and what do you see? A poor loser? No, not this time anyway. How about this screen? The developer matching making allows players from level 1 to play against players at level max, 39. And since players can join on the same team, you can and will frequently see a new level team fight against a max level team. The indirect clue is in those gold marks on the team screen, indicating high or even max level rank. While rank is not the same as max level in a theater, it quickly approaches the synonymous, as the way to advance in rank is to win, and winners gain the EXP boost to make their theaters. And max players have larger squads with better health, better equipment, better health support, better guns, better accuracy, and better vehicles. Do you see the trend here? If this was World of Tanks or World of Warships, this would be equivalent of playing a WW1 team of equipment versus a Cold War/modern team. A Tier 2 team versus a Tier 10 team. A Schlieffen versus a Chester. A T1 versus a T110? Look at all the disconnects on the losing team. Players realizing there isn't any chance of winning against the mega-level team. You can literally find yourself losing a dozen battles back-to-back, and your only chance is hoping the max players get tired and go play something else, or switch to a new campaign and hope it isn't happening there. Also, the upgrades you win in a theater only count towards one of 2 teams, so if you end up having invested a lot of your tokens and upgrades in a team, only to get stuck on a team that faces a max enemy every battle, you're stuck, you're screwed. Of course, you can just buy your way up the campaign. Wallet warriors win. Of course, the server does reset ranks, but that doesn't fix anything, as players can still use their real assets to put themselves back in the top tier. You can't even switch to the winning side in the next battle, often, because it's full, of course.
Yeah, sad. Attempts to discuss this fixed scheme of fixed gameplay has met with reproach from cushy pay-to-win players and devs who support them.
Verdict? Pass. On a game that treats its new, poorer players mercilessly. I hope this review helped. I don't like negative reviews. I can count the number of my negative reviews I've done on one hand, versus over 100 positive reviews, but when a game is this toxic to new players, something should be said. It's a shame because it is really addictive. I have so many good things to say about it, only to have them spoiled. Hopefully this changes, but so far all the development on this game just reinforces this pay-to-win scheme. If this sounds like something you would hate, then perhaps it is best you stay away until this is fixed, lest you get addicted to a game that thinks it is okay to create landslides of losses and no win guarantees, regardless of how hard a player tries, without their wallet.
Was this review good for you? Let me know, nicely, in the comments below, like and subscribe. Perhaps you have your own stories? Differing, but respectful, opinions? Let me know what you want to hear and see more of, as I work to grow this channel. Have fun!